Hi everyone, welcome back to the Graphics Fairy YouTube channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to share with you my design team project for the Graphics Fairy Premium membership website. And so this is my July junk journal project, and I decided this time to create a ring-bound journal and also center my theme around a color scheme which is pink and red. So this time, instead of looking for images through the different themed bundles that the Graphics Fairy provides in the website, I decided to go in the images section, kind of pick the images that spoke to me, and that allowed me to create my own little bundle of ephemera and printables. And then, yeah, I just kind of had fun creating some layouts throughout the journal. And yeah, so I'm just going to show you before I start doing the flip through. I'm going to show you like where I actually did the research and the difference with what I usually do. So this is the Graphics Fairy Premium membership website. And so usually when I do junk journals, I tend to kind of look into the themed bundles and kind of pick my theme centered around these bundles that are already made for you. But this time I decided to go in the images section, and here you have all the images that are available in the website and that are not like categorized in some bundles. So I felt it kind of gave me more creative freedom and kind of like allowed me to pair some images that wouldn't go together in a bundle, for example. So what I did is just here typed for red, pink, and then I was able to find, just a wide variety of images. Like here you have 96 pages. So it's a lot of fun to go through these things. I'm just going to show you how I did. So I'm just going to type red, for example. And then and then I have all the red images that have, images that have pops of reds. So yeah, this is how I did my researches this time and kind of pick the images on the website. And regarding the structure of the journal, it is ring bound, as I mentioned. This is my first time doing one like this, so I wanted to experiment a little, and I also created kind of an additional cover here. You can't see the rings because they're just behind that. But I decided to create just an additional cover because I wanted to wrap the whole thing up in something a little nicer. And I was just experimenting. So so I made this closure with a ring from a curtain, I believe. And so I just stitched sorry, this piece of leather and this ribbon inside, so they are connecting together. And yeah, then I can just wrap the journal around and make a knot to kind of close it. So that's the closure. And as I said, I created that cover, which is actually loose. So this is the journal with the rings, and this is the additional cover. And you could either put this back again inside to kind of have this neater look and maybe protect the end papers a little better. Or you could also create a whole new journal out of this cover. So starting with the cover, I decided to frame this beautiful printable that came from the Graphics Fairy. And actually this was not in a bundle, that was a printable from a tutorial that I will link down below. So I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and I framed the centerpiece here, this bouquet with like a vintage frame, and I also added this this image. I think it was from one of the romantic bundles. It was a lace paper frame, and I just created some like Marie-Louise to create more depth, and yeah, added some antique lace work on the side here, and there's just some small details here and there. And so when you open this up, you have a pocket here. On the back there is a collage with some wallpaper from the Graphics Fairy and some actual textured wallpaper. And then we have this beautiful invoice image that I printed on some transparency typing paper. This came from a French invoice collection. And then I made a little envelope, and inside I tucked some goodies, including this printable from the Graphics Fairy, which I made into a journaling card. So if we remove that from this cover, this was actually made out of like an actual book cover that I collaged onto, and here there's like a belly band and a book plate on the back. So I'm just going to put that aside, and let's have a look at the actual journal. So the first page is a collage page, like a fabric collage page, with some cotton fabric remnants and some laces. The centerpiece of this page is a very old French fabric, and I just hand stitched this antique photo album page, and I actually love the way it frames little scenes from the fabric. So I thought that was nice. And then I guess the person who will get this journal will be able to include his or her own photograph, and she could also create like a collaged sheet, such as the one I made here, to kind of design, you know, a whole new cover. This is something I collaged with some Graphics Fairy images from the Seed catalog bundle, and I just wanted to create a sort of scrapbook, like Victorian scrapbook layout. And so I did the same on the back with these floral die cuts, and I had some tickets that, like domino tickets, that were left from my collages, so I decided to include that. And this is a beautiful postcard that I believe is from the 1907 Beauties bundle. So you can see it creates, if you tuck this in between, it creates a whole new cover. Yeah. So inside we have, so again the theme is just pink and red, and there are a lot of florals images and French French ephemera, I guess. Here there's a large fabric pocket with some book page and a printable from the Graphics Fairy. We have a little die cut from the Graphics Fairy that I added to this handmade journaling card. There's another pocket, like a small tuck, sewn onto this larger pocket, and I added tags from the Graphics Fairy. And then I just added some small details. This is a very fine pink French ribbon and some vintage button. This one is mother of pearl button. And so on this side we have, actually the first page is not a page because I just attached two different pieces to each ring. This is an envelope that I covered with some pastel advertising from the Graphics Fairy. And so I just clipped this little envelope with there are some stamps inside. And then inside the actual envelope we have an invitation. And this is a design from the Graphics Fairy that I hand sewn onto some handmade paper. Then we have, on this upper ring, we have a stereograph that I liked the color of. And so this is the actual first page, and it's just a collage that you can you know, further embellish. There are some piano roll paper and some antique magazine paper and antique French deeds. What I did here is to add this magnetized little kind of pouch, collage pouch, and inside we have some Graphics Fairy designs here that you can turn into journaling cards or just collage with. And then on the bottom we have other designs from some of the Graphics Fairy bundles, and everything will be listed down below. And so actually when you add this to the page, on the top of the page, you can tuck this photograph, and you can also tuck this envelope, and that would be all kind of put together. And I just tucked this beautiful floral postcard in between the layers, like so. On this side that was clipped, the paper clip, we have this layout, which, well, actually with this beautiful envelope from the Graphics Fairy. I just added some ruffle and some laundry trim, and inside I backed it with some book page, and I added some rose petal, like crushed rose petaled paper, and I had this little detail from one of the Graphics Fairy bundles. And then this is an authentic piece of ephemera, a beautiful antique pink receipt from 1918. Here's just a book page that I thought was interesting, and I backed it with different layers of papers. This is a fabric snippet roll that I created, and inside I tucked some journaling cards from the Graphics Fairy. On this side we have a gorgeous pattern paper, and this is an Indian antique paper. And I added this really dainty piece of pink. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a very fine French pink lace. And here we have our red spreads. So this is actually an image from, I think it's a Bohemian bundle, and Butterfly Bohemian, I believe it's called. I just added a little label, and there's a big fabric pocket. This is some upholstery, French upholstery fabric. I created, or really I attempted, to create a little rose here, rose fabric. And then inside we have an authentic French receipt, some designer paper that I coffee stained, and then some handmade paper that I collaged some images on top. On this page I just added a book page that I printed some Graphics Fairy image on and just added a bit of this snippet roll that I made. And then this, I forgot to mention, this is some handmade paper that I did a while back. There's a French written note here and an avocado dyed page with some collaged elements from the Graphics Fairy. On this page, I just added some wallpaper on this side, sorry, and I just wanted to let it, you know, the paper, let the paper speak for itself because it's so beautiful. And then I just tucked a few things on this side. There's a French antique postcard, a flower book page, and then there was this chocolate wrapper image, and I thought I would just replicate the texture of a chocolate wrapper by adding this tissue paper on the back. On this side we have some gorgeous antique Indian prints and just a bit of collages here and there. And then this is a book plate, just hand sewn a little bow onto the flower. There's some French lace. Here we have a postcard, and then this is a little pocket with some more of the Graphics Fairy journaling card. This page is a plate from the Black and Cream ephemera bundle. And on this side I added this plate that I printed onto some grid paper, and I just added some small collage elements. This came from the Cherry Blossom Lane, I think. And then we have a pocket here with some French ephemera, like this menu card, envelope, and then some journaling space here. On the other side of this page we have this background paper is from a beekeeper's bundle, image bundle, and I just collaged some stamps and then added this little handmade pocket. All of these patterns are from the Graphics Fairy, and so is this little tag medley. So these are all images from the Graphics Fairy as well, and I just back them with some lined paper so you can write on the back. On the back of this little pouch pocket have this little acetate pocket with some other ephemera from the Graphics Fairy that I backed with some pattern paper and grid paper. And then a little journaling card tuck spot with some die cuts from Tim Holtz, I believe. So that goes in the back pocket here. This is some, don't know if you can see the texture, but this is some watercolor paper to which I clipped with this old paper clip some like a French invoice from the Graphics Fairy that I printed onto some pink typing writing paper. A vintage postcard, and then this is a postcard from the Graphics Fairy. So it's just a little bundle of goodies here. On this side we have a few pockets here, and inside we have different papers to write on. This one I believe is coffee dyed. Then there is a book page in here to which you can write on, and then there's this vintage postcard, and I made a little kind of booklet, collage booklet with some elements from the Graphics Fairy. So they all come from different bundles, and this as well. And so this is like an accordion style little booklet, and all these die cuts and images come from the Graphics Fairy. So actually I left this side blank so you can glue it down somewhere and so be able to see everything I made if you like it. This is an antique magazine page, and I just added a few things inside this little tuck spot. There's some, this is some like paper lace doily, and then a little journaling card. This actually was a note, and I just added an image from the Graphics Fairy, and then this is also from the Graphics Fairy, and I printed that on onto some rose dyed fabric, and actually my printer didn't go all the way down the paper, but I love this effect even more. It's kind of faded, but it's really pretty, and you could journal on the back. On the other side of this magazine page, it was some music paper, and I made this journaling card here, and then this is an envelope from the Graphics Fairy, so you can open it and put some goodies inside, and then I just tucked this vintage French postcard in between. This here is floating, so we have actually, everything is falling off. So this is actually the piece that is floating, and so I added to this side a little playing card booklet with this little tag from the Graphics Fairy, and then there's this little notebook. This was a wallpaper and a quote from the Graphics Fairy. I just added a little bit of velvet and some French vintage papers and sewed it like a little booklet journal. And so this is tucked in this pocket, which is a pattern, fabric pattern. And onto this side I clipped, this is a book plate, just made a few collages, and then just a book page. This is clipped onto this page, and you can of course move that about through the journal. Next, onto that page we have, it's actually several pages stitched together, and then in between I just tucked a few, it's like Japanese calligraphy paper, and so just added 2 sheets so you can collage and write on. And then there's a pocket made out of upholstery fabric, and inside we have little repair tag. This is authentic ephemera, and then an envelope that I embellished with some Graphics Fairy details here. And inside we just have a few goodies and things you can add into your journal. So I just added this beautiful page from a Redouté flower book illustration. And so the last detail here is this last page, which is a pocket. Inside we have a pretty book page. Love the font and the color of the font on this page. And then I just added some flowers that I pressed, and yeah, that's it for this journal. And so if you had this cover around the actual journal, that would be like this, and so you can add your papers and additional notes here, and then close it like this, and that wraps around the whole journal. So that's it from my design team project for the Graphics Fairy. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.